Welcome, everyone, to Beers with Jesus, belated, a day late. Sorry, guys.
A day late and gin with Jesus.
If you understand, just
Yeah.
nothing happened. Just somehow Carrie and I both we're trying to switch our schedule around to recording. Somehow both of us forgot that until this morning when we were going to release it that we hadn't recorded one. So here we are.
Right? Like,
We'll
sorry,
drop it the
Jesus.
next day.
We didn't mean to flake on Jesus.
No.
I got
So
a call from my mom. She goes, "There was no beers with Jesus today." I was like,
no.
funny story.
Well, yeah, she'll get it tomorrow. So everybody wins. We just yeah, we're trying some new things here. We'll see how they
Yeah.
work out. So, but news was great, and
Extra
I've
bonus
been listening
material.
to that. Yeah, there's a lot going on this week. I got a new clip that's going to drop tonight about Ethan Hawke. It's pretty funny. So hopefully we'll listen, guys. Um, share clips if you haven't with people, and I know it's hard for people to grasp the difference between NewsHour and this, but they're very different things. This is very, we're not political at all. We're
Nope.
safe for your
Yeah.
liberal friends, like your leftist communists. They
Oh
can
my
listen,
gosh.
they'll love it.
And with two words, he racked the non-political
I'm
aspect.
just saying, we're open to everybody.
Hmm.
The Bolsheviks, the Jews, everybody can listen to Beers with Jesus.
Yes, everybody can.
We're
That's
very
true.
non-controversial. All we do
Well,
is
yeah, I mean, it should be. Jesus,
we just
should be
explore the story of the
non-controversial.
Bible.
Yeah.
That's what we do. Using the message because, well, that's the best translation. So, till Todd's World translation comes out, but we don't know when that will be. So for
Yeah, that's like
now,
life. It's a
you really
life's
don't
work
need
right
that
there.
because we've got the message. So it's all
Yeah.
right there. Um, Today we're back in Acts, which is where we've been. Oh,
Hmm.
by the way, listen to news if you haven't. Check out. I'm
Yeah.
just going to finish this because I meant to
Yeah.
finish or not finish. Go to our website,
Yeah.
the store toddsworld.net. We have all kinds of gear on there. Um, at Amazon are my books. So you've got um, Leaves the Blue Ways, my memoir. 9 Mile Point's a new one. I just put out a new novel. Insurrection and Witness, the stories out there that started out as audiobook stories on Todd's World, audio fiction stories.
So fun to listen to those.
Anyway, all that's out there. Go explore it. It just delight yourself in Todd's World.
That sounds really wrong.
I just think that's anyway. So today,
No, yeah, there's kind of something for everyone. That's what's neat about it.
yeah,
Yeah.
and go back and listen to old shows. Subscribe to this one
Hmm.
if you haven't. Rate us, especially on Apple.
Yep.
Give us the five
Apple
stars we
Podcasts.
deserve,
Please.
and then
And share with someone.
yeah, share something with someone. So today, last week we did the blinding of Saul, which was a conversion of Saul on the Damascus Road,
Hmm.
and this week we are in. All we do is we follow the stories, so we explore them as we go. So this
Hmm.
week we're in Acts 9, verse 19. We're going to go to the end of the chapter. So it starts
Yep.
with plots against Saul, and then Peter and Tabitha come in at the end. So I'm going to read this week. Let's see. So last we left Saul, he was filled with the Holy Spirit. No sooner were the words out of his mouth than something like scales fell from Saul's eyes. He could see again. He got to his feet, was baptized, and sat down to a hearty meal. So Paul was filled with the Holy Spirit, could see again,
Hmm.
sat down to a hearty meal, and was ready to roll. And now we're going to see Saul spent a few days getting acquainted with the Damascus disciples, but then went right to work, wasting no time, preaching in the meeting places that this Jesus was the Son of God. They were caught off guard by this and not at all sure they could trust him. They kept saying, "Isn't this the man who wreaked havoc in Jerusalem among the believers? And didn't he come here to do the same thing? Arrest us and drag us off to jail in Jerusalem for sentencing by the high priest?" But their suspicions didn't slow Paul, or sorry, I'm gonna really trying, guys. But their
You're doing great.
suspicions didn't slow Saul down even for a minute. His momentum was up now, and he plowed straight into the opposition, disarming the Damascus Jews and trying to show them that this Jesus was the Messiah. After this had gone on quite a long time, some Jews conspired to kill him, but Saul got wind of it. They were watching the city gates around the clock so they could kill him. Then one night the disciples engineered his escape by lowering him over the wall in a basket. Back in Jerusalem, he tried to join the disciples, but they were all afraid of him. They didn't trust him one bit.
Mm.
Then Barnabas took him under his wing. He introduced him to the apostles and stood up for him, told them how Saul had seen and spoken to the Master on the Damascus road, and how in Damascus itself he had laid his life on the line with his bold preaching in Jesus' name. After that, he was accepted as one of them, going in and out of Jerusalem with no questions asked,
Mm.
uninhibited as he preached in the Master's name. But then he ran afoul of a group called Hellenists. He had been engaged in a running argument with them, who plotted his murder. When his friends learned of the plot, they got him out of town, took him to Caesarea, and then shipped him off to Tarsus. Things calmed down a little after that, and the church had smooth sailing for a while. All over the country, Judea, Samaria, Galilee, the church grew. They were permeated with a deep sense of reverence for God. The Holy Spirit was with them, strengthening them. They prospered wonderfully. So I think we'll start there.
Okay. Okay.
Sound good?
Sure.
And then maybe we'll get to, I hope we can get to Peter and
To
Tabitha.
Tabitha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Peter and Tabitha. Okay.
so Saul
So
gets
good,
right
good
rolling.
job. I know he's
Boom.
a fresh convert and just ready to go to work.
Yeah.
I mean, after a scare, a miracle healing, and also like having been, proven wrong, like basically having
Having
this
your entire
realization,
paradigm just
yeah,
shifted.
yeah, yeah, paradigm 180. I think he's just got to be so needing to make up for what he did, and he just is really passionate about it because it's not because it was a supernatural experience.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, I was reading hold on, where is it here? Um Reviance. Okay. He talks about in First Timothy, he talks some about his conversion. Show more guides, blah blah blah. Okay,
Oh, okay.
I'm so great. So this is First Timothy 1 and it's
Mm,
12. I'm so grateful to Christ Jesus for making me adequate to do this work. He
mm,
went out on a limb, entrusting me with this ministry. The only credentials I brought to it were violence and witch hunts and arrogance. But I was treated mercifully because I didn't know what I was doing, didn't know who I was doing it against.
hmm
Grace mixed with faith and love poured over me and into me, and all because of Jesus. So I think, yeah, he had it was zeal for God. He didn't see Jesus. He didn't, that
Yeah.
one, he missed Jesus. But as soon as that piece got in place of Jesus,
hmm
I mean, he's off to the races,
Yeah.
you know?
I like how it says that. Now, is that him? Is that him writing to Timothy? Or is that like Timothy sharing Saul's account? Saul's slash Paul's account?
Yes. What is
Okay.
what?
What
What
you
we
just
read?
read.
What I
What
just read
no,
was
what you
Paul
just read.
writing.
Okay,
I
Paul
mean, he
writing
may
to
have been
Timothy.
he may have been dictating it. Yeah,
Sure.
but
Okay.
right, those were Paul's words to Timothy in the first letter to Timothy, which was First Timothy.
So what stood out in that to me, what you just read was that he was shown mercy because he didn't know.
Hmm.
Like he didn't know what he was doing. He didn't know who he was doing it for. And I think, you know, um, I don't know. I just like the exhibition of grace in that situation because I think of how, I don't know, there are all kinds of churches that get caught up in, like, let's just say debate over one issue, that kind of
Hmm.
thing. And it's like, I really think that those aren't necessarily the things that are going to prevent us from being forgiven. Our eyes are going to be opened one day,
Yeah.
and I think that we'll be shown grace and mercy in those moments.
There
And I
seems
just,
to be a provision for honest error with God,
yes. Oh, honest air. Okay.
even if that honest error involves killing and imprisoning people.
Right. My gosh. I mean, if he's not an example that kind of
Right.
covers the basis for like our little trip ups,
Yeah.
you know?
I
Yeah.
just think it can give us some confidence that God knows what he's doing. He's in
Hmm.
control. Like,
Yes.
and at the right time, he can do anything he wants with anyone he wants.
Hmm.
And I mean, you could say, well, he wants everyone to be saved, and well, we'll see, right? Each in his
Hmm.
time, maybe.
Right.
But
Yeah.
um, but that certainly is what he's after. So
Hmm.
what's interesting is that this whole thing, what we just read, took place over about a 3-year period, I think.
Okay.
So it wasn't like he like 2 weeks later was in Jerusalem. You know what I mean?
Okay. Okay.
So because
Thank you for the
everything
timeline.
always
Yeah.
feels sped up when we read it in Acts,
Right.
just because of the way that Luke writes it. So,
Hmm.
um, but I really thought, yeah, they're caught off guard. I think that's the funniest thing is that they're already this message is already a message about some Jewish prophet who supposedly rose to life again. Like,
Okay.
so it's already crazy enough on its face. And then
Hmm.
the guy who was killing everybody saying that that was the craziest thing he ever heard now is standing up there making the case for why Jesus is the Messiah. And it must have been just a little bit like whiplash for people. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like, I just don't know.
Once that initial shock wore off, do you think that that actually gives his position more credibility? Because,
Maybe,
if you see a dramatic conversion
yeah.
on someone's part, do you tend to believe it more because, wow, this is like the opposite of how
It
he's
was
been living
almost
or
his conversion was almost a supernatural healing. It was a healing of
mm-hmm,
Paul's sight.
mm-hmm,
And it was clearly represented in his physical sight, but it was his sight beyond that. Do you know what I mean?
mm-hmm,
His sight into the spiritual realm, and Jesus healed him. And that, yeah, that I think also though that the spirit that was on Paul, yeah, I think that he could have been slow. I think he could have been slowed down by the suspicions. You know what I
mm-hmm.
mean?
Yeah.
I think probably there's people out there who maybe God calls to do things after maybe not the greatest track record, you know,
Right.
and that
Yeah.
they struggle with the shame and with not feeling worthy and with whatever. And if they let other people's opinions of them and other people's opinions of what they hear God saying to them or they believe God wants them to do,
Mm-hmm,
if they listen to them, they let them slow them down, and they're letting those suspicions kind of hinder God's work in their life. And Paul wasn't willing to do that. Like his sight had been healed.
mm-hmm,
I think you could argue so that now he could see and almost see Christ better because
mm-hmm.
of this experience, because of this filling of the Holy Spirit, and he's got insight into all these things that he then goes on to
Right.
write all about, all through and
Almost like
found
he's
through the
living the
churches.
metaphor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so I think that, but I still think it was a hard sell. I have a feeling he had to push through that for a while. Like we were
Right.
talking about, things take time. Like,
Yeah, definitely. So it's amazing despite all that. I mean, obviously you said some time has passed and that makes more sense because I'm thinking, who's helping him? Who's lowering him in a basket over the
right.
wall to escape this, assassination plot? And then later, when it says, all right, help me with just the syntax here. It says then he ran afoul of a group called Hellenists. What
Yeah.
does that mean? Does that mean that he like encountered them like in a confrontational
Well,
way or
he had
something?
been in a
Oh,
running argument with them, it sounds like. And I
okay.
think it was probably about Jesus being the Messiah. And
Probably.
they plotted his murder. They probably, I
Okay.
mean, they probably also, because that would have been maybe more
But
along the lines of people who felt betrayed by Saul because he was coming to help them, you
okay.
know?
Oh, okay, gotcha. But I mean, I'm just curious about that word, ran afoul of a group. Um, I just that's just not a phrase I'm familiar with. I was wondering if you understood. So,
So he just ran. When it
okay.
says ran afoul, it would just mean that like he ran into trouble with them.
Okay. Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, he had groups of people who cared enough about him to help
Yeah,
him
the disciples
escape.
started to
So,
take him in, and you can imagine that being a series of a lot of one-on-one conversations, probably with
sure.
Paul and
I
like
wish we had
individual
some of that.
people, and him like having to really convince them that this isn't some giant act, you know,
Right.
that this is real.
Right.
And you can understand why people would need the convincing.
Mm-hmm.
And probably to some extent that sharpened Paul's kind of, iron sharpens iron. That probably sharpened
Mm-hmm.
his grip on the gospel as he had to over and over and over again convince these
Ah,
people, even these believers,
sure.
why he had changed his mind and why he saw it differently now. You know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
that struggle, even to get accepted by the believers, hones his message to the point that when he's preaching it to unbelievers, he's getting a really good response. You know what I mean?
Right.
And the
Mm-hmm.
church is and the church is growing. But he runs into persecution right away too.
Mm-hmm.
So he runs into the exact thing he was doing before right away.
I
Except he's
know. Oh
on
my
the other
gosh.
end.
It's awful.
Now they're
So I'm
hunting
glad
him.
yeah, they really are. Yeah,
But
at least
even
these two
even that is
times.
preparation for what he's doing because he knows
Mm-hmm.
their system so well that if anybody can kind of slip through things, it's probably Saul or Paul.
Okay.
So it's
Well,
kind of
I'm glad they
interesting.
helped him. Who was it who, okay, it said here that, um, who was it who went to bat for him right away? Is it
Well, Barnabas does within
Barnabas?
Jerusalem.
Okay, in Jerusalem. So was Barnabas with him? Is he the, did he see this happen? Like
Yeah, I
who was
think
with
so.
him? Okay.
It doesn't exactly tell us.
Oh,
Barnabas
okay.
not only went to bat for Saul, and he tell it says that he tells the disciples, he talks about how boldly he preached the message in Damascus and he put his life on the line. It certainly seems like Barnabas is recounting things that
Hmm.
he witnessed. And then Barnabas and Saul go on for, I think, to Paul's first mission trip. So when
Okay.
Barnabas goes with him, so they end up being very close.
So I was going to say Barnabas, I think, was critical in that probably growing trust that the
Yeah,
other disciples had because, you know, if they
it's
had if they heard his endorsement, then it's like, oh, okay, well, let's give this a
yeah.
chance.
Um, the what I thought was interesting about that is
Hmm.
that it only takes one. You know what I mean? Like it
Hmm.
sometimes it only takes one voice to step up. When you're looking around, Barnabas is looking around and nobody's trusting this guy at all. Like the apostles,
Yeah,
the other disciples
right.
don't want to meet with him. Nobody wants, even if they've heard about what's going on in Damascus, they still don't trust it because they
Hmm.
know probably intimately families and homes that he tore apart in Jerusalem,
Hmm.
trying to
Yeah,
tear apart this new church, this new
yeah.
movement that they've started. And so they want nothing to do with them. But it's interesting that just one voice steps in, one person steps into the
Hmm.
gap and stands there, and God uses that one person to make it okay to bridge the path to everybody
Hmm.
else. And if you're Barnabas, you might think, well, I mean, compared to all these people, when they're not likely to listen to me, you know.
Right.
But sometimes you have to speak that truth anyway. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I'm glad he did. I just think of how hard it is to change an impression. You know, if you have an impression of someone, a strong opinion, based on like a stance they take. I mean,
Yeah,
if everything they've ever demonstrated is that they're, you know, on one side of an issue, if they suddenly flip, it takes a lot to undo that. A
right,
lot, you know, for the masses. So yeah, you need someone like Barnabas step forward and be like, no, listen, here's what I've seen him
right.
do. Um, you know, this is for real. I don't know. I think it's just really tough. And
Well, yeah,
obviously,
he's standing in the face of of a lot of opposition, and he's really, I mean, it's I think it even uses the word, doesn't it, that Barnabas goes out on a limb for
hmm
him. Like it really is
yeah,
going
where
out on a
was
limb
that?
because he's putting his own credibility on the line.
Yeah. Yeah, it said he took him under his wing
Took him under his
and
wing,
stood
introduced him,
up
yeah,
for
stood
him.
up for him. So, where did it
Hmm.
say about going out on a limb? Who even knows?
Well, I was I
Maybe
I
that's
think it
later on.
just
Maybe it's in
I
the
think it
Peter
just
one
said
with
that
Tabitha.
Saul. Oh, okay.
Huh.
I don't know.
Anyway,
Okay.
point is,
Hmm.
Saul's Saul's rolling. I was looking to see
He
if I
is.
had,
And he has some support now in his camp.
yeah. And I think when I think that when it talks about the church growing, like, so things
Hmm.
calm down. So he goes through this stuff and he's preaching, and he has all this opposition, he's getting in all these problems. People are trying to kill him. He's lowered over the wall in a
Hmm.
basket. And then again, he's someplace else, and then people want to kill him again. They're plotting
Hmm.
to murder him. I
Right?
assume that's because he was effective. You know what I mean? In other words, if he's just a lonely voice out there on the street corner, nobody's really paying any attention to him, nobody probably hates him all that much.
Ah,
People are most hated who are most effective. You know what I mean? Does
yes.
that make sense?
That does. So he's having an impact. So he's a threat to them now.
He's a threat to Satan's kingdom, I think. He's making a dent. And
Yes.
that's not appreciated, is what I think is going on. But anyway, so
Yeah.
Paul's going through all this, or Saul is.
Hmm.
And then it says things calmed down after that, and the church had smooth sailing for a while. All over
Hmm.
the country, Judea, Samaria, Galilee, the church grew.
Hmm.
They were permeated with a deep sense of reverence for God. The Holy Spirit was with them, strengthening them. They prospered wonderfully. It had me thinking about that as kind of being like a rhythm to life, like
Hmm.
trial, and then
Hmm.
followed by a period of peace,
Hmm.
followed by another period of trial, followed by, you know
Hmm.
what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
And
So what you're saying is times haven't changed much.
no, but things calmed down. God did give them a respite. You know what I mean? God gave the church
Hmm.
and he gave Paul a little bit of a respite. And so they went through a season of really difficult struggle,
Hmm.
and then things calmed down for a while after that. Like we can always count on God to kind of lead us into what does it lead us beside still waters and whatever,
Oh, right.
present a table before us in the presence of our enemies, Psalm 23. Like we can count on those times of refreshing and rest. Jesus says, are you tired? Are you worn out? Come to me. I won't put something on you
Mm.
that's too heavy and too
Hmm.
ill-fitting. That doesn't mean there aren't going to be times where it seems like it is, but we can
Oh, right.
count on, if we can survive and if we can get through it, there'll be a
Yeah.
period of rest there'll be a period of blessing on the other side of suffering. Like there's a rhythm to life. Does that make
Hmm.
sense?
Hmm. Yeah, I think you and I understand that, right? Pretty well.
We'd like
There
to
will be
think,
trials. There will be.
mhm, but unexpected blessings too
Yes.
following. So,
Yeah, there
and
are.
times of high stress, times of real difficulty, followed by times where things level out, and
Hmm.
you can kind of get into it a little bit.
Right.
Maybe hope that you can maybe reap a little bit of some of the seeds you were sown in suffering. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Right.
And maybe that growth that took place. But there is a time of harvest and there's a time of blessing and a time where things calm down.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah. All right. So everything's going smoothly now.
ready to go on to the next one?
Sure.
Tabitha.
Sure. I feel like I don't know this one. Tabitha
Okay.
does not ring a bell. I don't
Well,
think I
let's see
knew
what Tabitha
Tabitha.
is all about.
Okay.
We're
All
back
right.
to Peter now.
Okay.
Peter went off on a mission to visit all the churches. In the course of his travels, he arrived in Lydda and met with the believers there. He came across a man. His name was Aeneas or something.
Aeneas, probably.
Aeneas, maybe, who had been in bed 8 years paralyzed.
Mm.
Jesus said, Aeneas, Jesus Christ heals you. Get up and make your bed. He did it. Jumped right out of bed. Everybody who lived in Lydda and Sharon saw him walking around and woke up to the fact that God was alive and active among them.
Wow.
Down the road away in Joppa, there was a disciple named Tabitha, Gazelle in our language.
Hmm.
She was well known for doing good and helping out. During the time Peter was in the area, she became sick and died. Her friends prepared her body for burial and put her in a cool room. Some of the disciples had heard that Peter was visiting in nearby Lydda and sent two men to ask if he would be so kind as to come over. Peter got right up and went with them. They took him into the room where Tabitha's body was laid out. Her old friends, most of them widows, were in the room mourning. They showed Peter pieces of clothing the gazelle had made while she was with them. Peter put the windows, or put the Peter put the widows all out of the room. He knelt and prayed. Then he spoke directly to the body. Tabitha, get up. She opened her eyes. When she saw Peter, she sat up. He took her hand and helped her up. Then he called in the believers and widows and presented her to them alive. When this became known all over Joppa, many put their trust in the Master. Peter stayed on a long time in Joppa as a guest of Simon the tanner.
Wow.
What do you think, Carrie? You didn't know that story or don't remember it?
I don't think I know that. It sounds vaguely familiar, but here in this context, the way that we've been going through Mark and now Acts, um, I don't know. Is this the first is this the first person the disciples have raised from the dead, or is it the second? And sorry to put you
Mm,
on the hot seat. I'm just curious. I'm just saying, like, that's huge.
that's a good question. I
I
want to
mean,
say this is the first one that I can think of.
okay. I mean, this is a big deal. And
Yeah.
I think too, like all these healings are miraculous. The
Yeah.
blind, well, the blinding, the blind, the healing of the blindness. Um, and Aeneas is 8 years paralyzed in bed and he hops up and makes his bed. I
Yeah.
mean, these are incredible. But raising someone from the dead,
Well, I was going to say, do you think they because it says that she died, and it says some of the disciples had heard Peter was visiting in nearby Lydda and sent two men to ask if he could be so kind as to come over. Do you think when they asked that they thought he was going to raise her from the dead
I
or
don't
not?
know.
I can't
I
imagine. Yeah,
I can't imagine. No, I wonder,
but
did they just
maybe.
think he could come and comfort them, pray for them? I don't know.
I mean,
That certainly wouldn't be my
it
expectation.
does sound like
Peter's down
if
the
you hear
street.
Peter's in town,
Hmm.
and now Peter's the one we know earlier on in Acts, a few years
Hmm.
back, 4 or 5, who knows how many years ago,
Hmm.
that it was said that people they would lay the sick out in the streets and just hope that his shadow would kind of cross
Oh,
over them and they'd be
okay.
healed. So Peter, and then Peter also had that run-in with that Simon the sorcerer guy, the magician,
Yes.
and
Oh, yeah.
had
Who
that
wanted to know his
whole,
trick?
yeah, that whole revival going on. So my guess is that Peter had developed quite a reputation that had spread. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Well, then, I mean, maybe they were hopeful, but I truly can't imagine that is anyone's realistic expectation. Because I just feel like it's a whole different level.
Yeah.
I mean, death's finality, I'm going to say practically the only other time we see it is God raising Jesus from the dead. Now,
Yeah.
Lazarus
Paul's going to raise
and
somebody from the dead.
and the guy whose daughter died like while Jesus was like taking his time
Jarius.
getting there.
Jarius's daughter. Yep.
hmm But again, that's Jesus, that's at God's hands.
Right.
I don't know. So I just feel like it's a whole other level to
Well,
defy the finality
it
of
is
death.
definitely a whole other level. And maybe the answer is
hmm
it doesn't matter what they expected or didn't expect because
I know.
at, for some reason
hmm
it came into their mind. Perhaps the Holy Spirit put it into their mind.
hmm
You know, Peter's in town. You should go try to talk to him. And they weren't maybe even necessarily the people who knew Peter. Maybe they thought at the time when they had this little premonition, maybe they were like, oh no, why
hmm
would Peter care about me? You know what I mean? Like
Right.
maybe a guy said to his friend and he was like, oh, I got this thing. I think, the gazelle died and she was just such a great woman. And I heard
Right.
that Peter's not far from here. And some reason I've been thinking we should go see if he'll come down. And the guy was like looking at him like you're insane. And then maybe they kind of got it together and just decided, well, we're going to obey the spirit anyway and just see what happens. You know what
hmm
I mean?
Right.
Just step out.
Right.
Just take a step of
Maybe.
faith and see what happened. Probably as they're getting closer to actually where Peter was, they were probably like looking at each other like, I don't know if this is going to work. I don't know if we can get in there, man.
Yeah. I just, yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's
He's kind
interesting
of
that
a
they would
big
have,
deal.
yeah. But it's interesting that they would have called him, but
I know.
what were they really expecting to happen? Because I just don't think that would be a typical expectation.
No, and I feel like Peter must have had a little bit of I don't know, like a little bit of a premonition too, because Peter got right up and went with them. Like he
hmm
didn't like pause at all about it.
Right.
Like Peter knew, like maybe everybody knew something was in like the spirits around here, man. Something's in the offing. You know what I
hmm
mean? Maybe we just want to get there and see what happens.
hmm
I
Right.
don't know.
Yeah. Where was he?
Peter was in another town, right?
Visiting nearby.
He was in Lydda, and
Okay. All right.
they were, I think, from Joppa, and then he ends up staying there for a long
Oh,
time.
I'm sorry. Here's the thing too. They okay, wait, some of the disciples had heard that he was nearby.
Yeah,
Okay, wait, and they sent two men to ask him to come.
yeah.
So wait, the disciples knew he was in town
Hmm.
and sent them. So maybe the disciples were like, yeah, just get Peter. Peter will come and take care of this, you know?
Yeah.
I can imagine the disciples having that expectation, but not these regular people.
Well, but I don't think they were like the disciples like you're thinking.
You don't think so?
No, I think they were
Some of
just
the disciples
I
had
think
heard
they were
what
I
did they
don't think
say?
they were like
The
I
disciples,
don't think so. I
like
don't
the
know.
apostle
I don't read
disciples.
it that
Okay.
way. I read it as
Okay.
just some disciples
Okay.
of Christ in the area.
Like believers. Okay.
You could be right.
I don't know.
I don't know. In that I don't know the answer.
Mhm.
I've never heard it taught that it was like John or somebody who
Sure.
was
I
like,
know. Well,
you
and
ought to
as
get Peter.
well, I think they should, I know. I think they'd be named possibly, but I don't know.
I don't know either.
Okay.
But anyway, who knows?
Add it to the list of
Somebody
questions
had
to
enough
ask
faith to go
someday.
do something,
Yeah.
and the gazelle got raised from the dead. They were in
I
there
didn't know
just playing
Tabitha.
with some clothes that she made.
I didn't know Tabitha meant gazelle.
And she's old, probably, this old lady.
She must be. How sweet is that that the widows have brought like these items of
Yeah.
clothing that Tabitha has made. So cute.
It also says something about the fact, because Tabitha was old. I mean, I think. She was hanging out with the widows. If they were her friends, it seems reasonable to
Yeah,
assume
it
she's
says
making
mostly
clothes.
widows, right?
Yeah.
Her old friends, most of them widows, were in the room
Yeah.
mourning.
So I feel like she's
Yeah.
older. And I think
hmm
it also says something about the fact that God wasn't done with Tabitha yet, even though she was old enough to die. I
I,
guess we're all
I
old
wonder,
enough to die.
I wonder, we
But
are, but I wonder if Tabitha, poor Tabitha, I wonder if Tabitha had already had a chance to like, see the light. And then she's like,
she's
oh
like,
man,
oh gosh, I'm back to it.
I'm back to it. I gotta hang out with all these old people and
I gotta start
sew all
making more
day.
clothes.
Gotta be
No, my guess
sewing
is
all
she
day.
got up and was like ready to go. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I
Like,
guess.
what I wonder is, and I don't know, we'd have to,
Hmm.
this would be in some Catholic Church history. God only knows how reliable that is. But
Okay.
it would
You
be
know,
like, what
they've
happened
been
to
around a
Tabitha
while.
after, like,
Yeah.
did she get a little touch of something and ended up like living extra long like the Green Mile
Oh,
mouse?
like the Mr.
You
Jingles
know what I mean?
in the Green Mile. Yeah, I don't
Like
know.
John Coffey blew on the mouse and he touched, what's his name?
Oh, oh,
Tom Hanks guy. I can't remember
yeah,
his name. And
yep.
they both
Oh
lived a
my
long,
gosh.
like way longer than they should have because they were
Yeah,
touched. That'd be
it's one
wild,
of the
right?
greatest movies of all time.
That's good. Look at that, bringing the Green Mile into Acts. John
It's such a good
Coffey,
movie.
a latter day disciple. Boss,
So, hmm?
boss. Remember, he's like, boss.
Oh, boss, yeah.
He was so, that
Real
was such a
tired.
good movie.
Real tired, boss. Real tired. Oh, I love it. He's got to be like one of the best,
It
one
was.
of
It
the
was a great
best
book too.
characters. Yeah. Is it a short one or is that a big one? It's like a,
It's decently long. It's probably 400 or 500 pages, maybe. But
oh, okay.
he released it originally in like seven different small little
Oh,
novellas, and so it's like
that's cool.
8 books. I don't remember how many it is of these little novellas.
That's neat.
So yeah, it's fun. But
So
yeah,
good. Yeah.
so Peter's doing all kinds of things. And I think it's interesting that everybody who lived in Lydda and saw the guy who was paralyzed and got
Hmm.
out of bed.
Right.
Everybody who lived in Lydda and Sharon saw him walking around and woke up to the fact that God was alive and active among them.
Hmm.
Like, what's waking them up to that fact?
Well, yeah,
Miraculous, the
just
supernatural.
absolutely.
It's God's kingdom breaking directly into our world
Hmm.
and just kind of overwhelming it. And
Right.
you don't have any answers for it. You know what I mean?
Right. If it's just beyond what can happen, at the hands of people, humans, then something else is happening.
Yeah.
Yep. You
Okay.
think you think miracles are still happening.
Well, I'm sure they're still
I mean,
happening. I don't.
yeah. I wish we knew about them more. Wouldn't it be cool if the news reported on miracles?
Yeah.
I think that'd
Well,
be
I think
great.
everybody, though, I think even Christians who believe in miracles,
Hmm.
I think everybody's a little skeptical about them all the time. Don't you?
Yeah,
Aren't you a little
I do.
skeptical?
Um, I can get pretty excited about them, but I think, yeah, underneath it's like I don't go sharing stuff because I think, well, I don't, unless I know about it firsthand.
Yeah.
Like for example,
For
for
example,
example, someone, now this is not someone I knew directly, but it was a friend of a friend,
friend of a friend,
friend of a friend.
son of a sailor.
The face of Jesus appeared in a door in their home,
Wow.
like in the wood in their home. And it wasn't like a, hey, if you squint and you lean this
You
way,
could
it
see
kind
it.
of looks like Jesus. It's not like that. It was like out of nowhere, the face of Jesus appeared in the wood
Wow.
on this door. And like people who knew them were all like excited and freaked out and,
Yeah, it's kind of, what do you
but
think about such things?
well, like I wish I'd known them because I would have gone to see that because I
Right.
think it'd be really cool to see. The last I heard, like priests all over our diocese were going to like see it, were evaluating, evaluating whether it was authentic or not. Because I think you have to be really careful. Otherwise, your house would be
There's a lot
flooded
of
by strangers
faux
and
Jesus indoors.
yeah, I guess so. Do you remember the grilled
Guys,
cheeses? Do
I
you remember
don't
that
know
on
what all these wood
Glee?
shavings are. Something seems fishy.
Did you did you ever see
Father
Glee?
John, what do you think?
Did you watch Glee? Did you watch that?
Glee?
Glee.
Yes.
Do you
Well,
remember the
not
gr
all of it. I watched some.
Okay. Do you remember the grilled cheeses?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking you were going to say. It
It's
was
not what
like
you
on a
thought.
grilled cheese. No, I thought you were going to say that your friend of a friend, it was like a grilled cheese.
Oh no, no, I was gonna say, that like if you're making a grilled cheese sandwich and something in the toast kind of looks like Jesus, that's one thing.
Wait
If
a
it
minute.
if something permanent like, this
Is
wood
that you,
door.
Lord?
Sorry. I mean, what would you do? Todd, what would you do? Let,
Oh,
let's let's
God.
let's do a hypothetical here. What would you do if your neighbor, your next door neighbor, said, Todd, come check this out. This looks like Jesus on the side of my house or whatever. It just appeared
I
or what? I'm
guess
just
I'd
saying.
go.
Wouldn't you go
And
see it?
yeah, and if it
What
looked
if
like
it
Jesus, I'd be like,
really
that's weird. Can't explain that one.
okay. And what if you like laid your hand on it and your any of your ailments were healed?
Well, that would be fabulous. I would keep going back until they were all healed. Be
Yeah.
like, is this just like a three wish thing or what? How's this thing work? I never seen Jesus' face in a wall before. Like just in the vinyl siding, faded irregularly. Next thing
I'm
I
sorry. I
know,
know
I'm healed.
I'm sorry. I know we're making jokes here, but like I think things like this happen. They happen, don't they? What?
Oh, probably just
It's-
like that.
Yeah,
That's pretty funny. I don't know.
I don't know. I'd go see it. I'd be like, I'm coming up. Tell them don't wash it off.
Oh
No, it's
Lord.
pretty.
I don't even
Anyway,
know where
but
to go after
me
that.
neither.
You're
I'm
right.
gonna try to
I
bring it back around
bring
to like what we're
Carrie's
talking
gonna
about.
bring it home.
I'm gonna try.
She's got
Sorry,
it in the air.
we're doing this at the end of a work day, so forgive us. What I was going to say is, I think the point of all of that kind of silliness, the hypotheticals, is if you know of someone nearby who's experiencing a miracle, it's going to impact you. It's going
Yeah.
to challenge or affirm, change your beliefs.
Yeah.
That's what it's going to do. It's going to be a powerful thing, and it's going to have, it's going to impact people
It,
and their
it it
beliefs.
seems like at least in Acts, at least in the Gospels, when we see
Hmm.
Jesus working, when we see the apostles and their lives and their works,
Hmm.
it seems like when God's moving, kind of most people know what's going on. Like it makes a big
Yeah.
splash.
Hmm.
Like God tends to make a big splash when he shows up on the scene, is what it seems like.
Yes.
And it seems
Yes.
like people get healed. And it
Hmm.
seems like people get released from things they've been struggling with. And it seems like
Hmm.
people like Saul change dramatically. You know what I mean?
Yes.
One thing it doesn't seem like
Hmm.
is boring, right?
No.
It does, none
It
of this
also
seems
doesn't
very
seem,
boring
it
or
also doesn't seem
typical
right. It also doesn't seem random. Like the people woke up to the fact that God was alive and active among them.
and
Like
he was.
they understood what it was.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Today, there'd be a whole bunch of people who would feel that way. And then there'd be people who'd be like, yeah, it's aliens, it's coincidence, it's whatever.
Maybe it's God. They woke up to the fact that God was at work among them.
Hmm.
Was he at work among them anyway? And he just had to like he had to get a little bit. He had to shake them a little bit to wake them up with
Oh,
something more
yeah,
dramatic. But
sure.
was the point that God's always at work. We're just not awake and
Absolutely.
alert to see it very often.
Yeah, he's alive and active among us. But I think, when we talk, okay, so we talked about these miracles then versus now. They're documented here. We don't get
Right.
documentation from the news about miracles happening. But I do think that at this time when the church is growing, like it's growing for the first time,
Yeah.
I think those miraculous events, this is just This is just off the top of my head. I'm not basing this on anything other than speculation that more of these things were happening because the church was being spread and growing for the very first time.
Yeah. Well, God was at
So
work
God
and it
was
was
like,
exciting. And
like,
yeah,
check this out. Watch what I can do.
God's waking people up and
Yeah.
people are suddenly alert for it. And when you're awake and you're alert to God at work among you,
Mm-hmm.
maybe you start to look for it. Maybe not only do you
Mm-hmm.
start to look for it, maybe you start to participate in it. Like these guys who are like, hey, I know she's dead, but what hell?
Yeah.
Let's go get Peter. Who knows? What might happen?
Peter, right?
I mean, he's
Go out
raised
on a
people.
limb.
People have been raised before. I
Could
don't know.
be.
It's kind of cool.
So I think we should have homework this week.
Oh no.
I know Todd's opposed to
Make a
homework.
grilled cheese. Is that what it is?
Make a
See
grilled
what comes
cheese.
up.
And no, I was going to say, I think it's a really good practice. And, I forget. It's been a heck of a year, but it's probably this is a great reminder at a great time to start looking for how God is active around us, you
Now
know?
he's at work. Start
Yeah.
asking, start seeking, and he'll
Hmm.
show up. He'll show you the next move.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe he wants you to go get Peter to raise somebody from the dead. Go
Right?
get Peter and show him Jesus' face in the door. He'd be like, I don't know. That was not how I remember him.
Kind of looks like him a little bit older, a little bit more tan. I don't know. That's funny.
Kind of looks like Ethan Hawke with a beard. It can't be right.
Ah,
All
you have to
right,
go listen to
guys.
news to get that joke.
All
To
right,
even
guys. I think
understand.
we did all we could today, Carrie.
I think so.
Thank you for joining us, guys. Again, rate us, send us to your friends. Come back next week,
Yeah.
hopefully Wednesdays. That's the goal.
Hopefully,
This week it
that's the
was
goal.
Thursday, but we'll get it out one way or the other. So
We will. Chapter 10 next time. So we're
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 making
cruising
we're making
along.
headway. Look at us go.
We're doing so great.
All right. Keep a sharp eye, guys. You never know where Jesus may show up.
Hopefully here.
Which is true.
Yeah, that is true.
It's a wonderful thing.
Keep a sharp eye. I like that.
All
That's a
right.
better way of that's a better way of saying like we have homework this week.
All right. Thanks, Carrie. Thanks,
Thanks a
guys. We'll
lot.
see you next week.